Hello dear students, welcome back to a new channel. Students, today we are going to talk about something that almost all of us have used at some point, right? So yes, we are going to talk about antibiotic. Now these medicines are given to us when we have throat infection or when we fall sick with bacterial illnesses. But students, what if I tell you that taking antibiotics too often or without proper care could actually hurt not just our body but even our mental health. Now that sounds surprising, right? तो अब देखो बच्चों, सबसे पहले हम समझते हैं कि एंटीबायोटिक्स होता क्या है. एंटीबायोटिक्स, what are bacteria? Bacteria are small microorganisms, okay, and we know that there are certain microorganisms that make us fall sick, right? So certain bacteria even cause diseases, है ना, जैसे थ्रोट इन्फेक्शन हो गया फीवर हो गया हमें, इवन वायरसेस, राइट, वायरस से बहुत सारे वायरल इन्फेक्शन होते हैं. तो वैसे ही एंड जब हमें बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन होता है, मतलब डिजीज कॉज बाय बैक्टीरिया. So when we have disease which is caused by bacteria, doctor give us special medicines, and these medicines are called antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics are basically medicines that fight bacteria, only bacteria. राइट अब ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपको वायरल इन्फेक्शन है, मतलब आपको कोई डिजीज है जो वायरस की वजह से हुआ है, उसमें आप एंटीबायोटिक्स खा रहे हो. नो, antibiotics don't work on viral infection. So now we are going to understand the concept of antimicrobial resistance. See, let's imagine that your body is a castle. Your body is a castle, right? And tiny invaders, they are trying to attack. They are trying to attack. So, what are antibiotics? Antibiotics are basically guards, security guards, who come to the rescue and they defeat the invaders. But here's the tricky part. If we keep calling the guards, even when there is no real attack, what would happen? They can get tired, right? They'll get tired. And invaders, they can learn new tricks. So these smart invaders, which tend to learn new tricks, are called antibiotic resistant bacteria. And this problem has a name, antimicrobial resistance. So when we use antibiotics too much or incorrectly and too much, bacteria, they just stop responding to them. उनको लगता है कि अरे अब तो ये तो हम तो रेजिस्टेंस हमने डेवलप कर लिया है, क्योंकि जो बैक्टीरिया है, दे somehow there's a change in their protein structure and they become super bugs. जैसे सुपर पावर आ जाती है ना, तो वैसे वो सुपर बग्स बन जाते हैं. So they can now resist even antibiotics. So in the future, what may happen that almost जो antibiotics हैं, उनसे लड़ने वाले, उनसे जो antibiotics are life saving drugs, right? So कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि जो बैक्टीरिया है वो इतना स्ट्रांग, उसका स्ट्रेन इतना ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग हो गया कि वो हर तरह के जो स्ट्रांग एंटीबायोटिक उसको भी रेजिस्ट कर पा रहा है. So that is concerning for us, right? Now, what is the situation in India? Students, India is one of the top countries in the world, and where lot of antibiotics are used. Sometimes even when they are not needed, जहाँ पे ज़रूरत भी नहीं है वहाँ पे भी antibiotics यूज़ किया जा रहा है इंडिया में, राइट? तो अब देखो, कई सारे लोग हैं, they buy antibiotics without a doctor's prescription, which should not be done, students, in any case. आपने देखा होगा कि कोल्ड हो गया, फीवर हो गया, फार्मेसी पे जाके क्या बोला कि ये सिम्टम्स है, एंटीबायोटिक्स दे दो. नो, दिस शुड नेवर बी डन. ओके, सो एंटीबायोटिक्स शुड नॉट बी बॉट विदाउट a doctor's prescription. And sometimes even doctors give antibiotics when it's not necessary, like for viral infection such as common cold or flu, they prescribe antibiotics which is not even required. Okay, because antibiotics, they don't Work on viral infection. Please remember this. Your homework is to find out why they don't work on viral infections. And in rural areas, this is also seen that local shops they sell antibiotics freely. कि हाँ भाई free में आराम से, because rules are not strict ना, rules are not strict there. And a report found that nearly half of all antibiotics used in India came from informal sources, like small unregulated shops. So as a result, what is happening? Antibiotic resistance is spreading fast. Antibiotic resistance is spreading fast. In 2021, it was estimated that 62,000 people in India they died because their infection could not be treated with antibiotics. Now that is concerning, students. Okay, कि वो इसीलिए नहीं बीमार हुए, इसीलिए नहीं उनकी डेथ हुई क्योंकि वो बीमार थे, वो इसीलिए उनकी डेथ हो गई क्योंकि एंटीबायोटिक्स उन पे वर्क नहीं कर रहे थे. 62,000. Now, if this trend continues by 2030, the number could go up 1.2 million. 1.2 million every year. So that's the entire population of a small city, right? So antibiotic resistance and death और ज़्यादा increase or every year it is increasing because people are not aware na, and it becomes our job to spread this awareness. Even if elders in your family are not aware with this, then it becomes your responsibility because you're the future leaders. Your job is to inform them, right? So gut and brain is also connected. See, inside our stomach and intestines, there are trillions of tiny microorganisms, जैसे bacteria, fungi, and together they form uh, they form gut microbiome. Okay, they form gut microbiome. So, what is gut microbiome? Biome. Think of it as like a little village living inside us. Some bacteria are good. You might have heard of good bacteria. They help us digest our food. Now, there are others which help make important brain chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. They are important brain chemicals. Okay, they are chemicals. And they control our mood, they control our sleep, they control our emotions. In fact, scientists call the gut our second brain. They call this as our second brain because it communicates with our actual brain all the time through nerves and chemicals. Now the problem is when we take too many antibiotics, what happens? That these medicines they don't just kill the bad bacteria causing infection. They also harm the good bacteria living peacefully inside our gut village. So this disturbance, this whole disturbance is called gut dysbiosis. Okay, gut dysbiosis, and students, this gut problem also affect our mental health. See, when the good bacteria in our gut, when those good bacteria which is present in our stomach, when they are destroyed, the production of happy brain chemical goes down, and harmful bacteria might grow more and more, and they may release toxins in our body. So, immune system can become confused. It can become inflamed. And this inflammation can send signals to the brain, and this can lead to problems like anxiety, depression, difficulty concentrating or remembering things. तो देखो कनेक्शन कैसे गट में जो हो रहा है वहां से माइंड का कनेक्शन है. So scientists have found that people with depression often have more bad bacteria and fewer good bacteria in their gut. In fact, a study showed that when people were given probiotics, matlab foods that contain good bacteria like yogurt or fermented pickles, their mood automatically improves. So this shows how closely our gut health and mental health are linked. So, what's the role of our healthcare system? See, students, in India, this problem is made worse by our healthcare system. Why? क्योंकि जो pharmacies हैं, they often sell antibiotics without checking prescriptions, right? They don't even check prescriptions. And sometimes doctor under pressure to make patients feel better quickly, what they do, they may give antibiotics even when they aren't needed. ये जल्दी जल्दी ठीक हो जाए. Patients on the other hand, they sometimes demand antibiotics because they think it's the only way to get well fast. So all these habits together, it create a dangerous cycle. Plus, some people they stop taking antibiotics as soon as they feel better. है ना, जैसे ही थोड़ा सा ठीक हुआ है बस एंटीबायोटिक्स बंद कर दिया, instead of completing the full course, which should not be done. ओके, अगर आपने एंटीबायोटिक्स आप खा रहे हो तो सबसे पहले तो डॉक्टर से प्रिस्क्राइब करना है. इट शुड बी टेकन आफ्टर डॉक्टर्स प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, एंड the whole course should be completed. One shouldn't stop taking antibiotics as soon as they feel better, because this gives bacteria a chance to come back even stronger. So antibiotic course has to be completed, and when it is especially when it is needed. If it is not needed, if you can get well after taking after taking rest and drinking lots of fluids, then you should do that instead of just popping up antibiotics. So what can we do? See, first of all, only taking antibiotics when they are prescribed by a doctor. This is the utmost urgent thing which people need to know. Don't just self medicate or buy them over the counter. Secondly, finish the full course. Even if you feel better, keep taking the medicine until the doctor says to stop. Okay, after they are done with certain tests. Thirdly, fermented foods like yogurt, dosa, idli, because they contain good bacteria, and that it helps keep our gut healthy. So we should eat gut-friendly foods, right? Too much of processed sugary foods is not good for our stomach. Also, you know, see, now you know what is antimicrobial resistance. So you should talk to your friends, you should talk to your family about why antibiotics should be used carefully. And of course, government needs stricter rules so that pharmacies and doctors they don't misuse antibiotics, right? So students, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to share what you have learned with someone you care about. Okay, this is very important, a very important topic, right? So students, stay healthy, stay curious, and see you next time. Bye bye.